like realizing that when you're positive, you are looking
Yeah.
for things to work out. You're
Yeah.
optimistic with things to work out. When you are grateful, you find the gift even when things don't work out. And you're happy
I love
even
that.
when things don't work out. So even things are not working out in your life, even things that haven't worked out in our lives, we know that at the end there's a lesson, there's a gift, there's an opportunity for us to learn.
Always.
But don't mask it with just positivity. Don't mask it with like it's gonna work out. No, take ownership. Acknowledge you were a grateful motherfucker at that moment. Welcome to the Got Money and Sense podcast. My name is Raul Velasquez. I'm here with my beautiful co-host.
Yes, Vivian Velasquez. So excited to be here with you, my love.
We have a great topic today because it's been a hectic week. It's been
an amazing week. We're going to talk about hectic.
It's been busy. I mean, last week was Halloween. We had a lot of things. It was your birthday. We had your birthday celebration. We party.
Yeah.
We party like we were 21.
You always party for me like you're 21.
I always feel like I'm 21 with you.
I know. So sweet.
So what's the topic for today? And if you're watching this for the first time, just make sure you subscribe. Listen to our podcast. We have tons of podcasts that we've done in the last, I think, year and a half. We've been doing this.
Yeah, this is our second season. So yeah, if you're following us, like, comment, and also leave questions. Like if you want us to talk about something that we're not talking about it here, let us know. We are here to serve you. We're here to just, open up and really give you some insights in how we are learning really to go through with life, with God, with money, and with sex, and all the things that we've learned. I think that we just want to put it out there and bring some light into what marriage is, into what God has been for us, is for us, and money, production.
I think that at the end of the day, we all learn from each other. So all your questions, all your feedback, the messages, I want to thank every single one of you because I read all your messages. I try to answer as many DMs as I can. Yeah. And I'm constantly looking for the feedback. So if you're watching us from overseas, you're watching us locally, if you're watching us from anywhere, just comment. Let us know that you're here. Let's interact. And we'll have some questions. Actually, I want to start by acknowledging some of the people who send us the questions. And that brings the topics that we talk about. And I'm always looking at the patterns because what I do in my coaching practice is I actually look at patterns, the patterns that my guys are going through, the patterns in my life. And my content is always based on my experience. I don't think that we figure life out. We're not here to be experts. We don't think we're experts in God. We're not experts in money. We're not experts in sex. But we are here to just give you our perspective on our journey.
Yes.
And at the end, we all learn from each other. We all have an experience. And we're going to level up. So
I know we've been talking a lot about different things, but I know something that maybe came up for you this week was, what is the difference between being positive and a positive state and a grateful state, right? Was that what came up for you this week? Yeah,
because a lot of people who hit me up, they ask me, Raul, how come you're so positive? You're motivational and I get inspiration from you. And it's great. I think that we all have that positivity as an entrepreneur. I think that we all need that. I mean, if you're a pessimist, if you don't believe in the good things that are happening to you, if you don't believe that great things are out there, then as an entrepreneur, you're gonna fail. And I think that's where a lot of entrepreneurs, at the beginning, we're positive. At the beginning, we're optimistic. At the beginning of a relationship, you meet a woman, you fall in love with her, and you think everything's gonna be a bed of roses, but then what happens?
Everything changes. I just, I feel, okay, let me see how I feel about this because we didn't really talk about it. But here's the thing, positive, it's something like you could change anything and try to make it into something positive, right? Like you have a positive attitude and it's kind of like you are sugarcoating something on the outside, right? Like you're just trying to make it better. I just think
that reality starts to hit. And if you realize, we all start with a positive intent.
Yeah, I'm just saying the difference.
Positivity needs to happen in order for you to do something.
No. I'm just saying the difference between between being positive and being grateful. I just think they're totally different for me, especially because I'm saying positive is something that anything you could look at and try to make it positive. And positive is something for me is something that's external, right? You could try to change your attitude and have a positive attitude. That doesn't mean that you really feel positive. for me, like grateful is something so much deeper. It's something that gratefulness you kind of just feel on the inside. And it's something that for me has happened, like it's a muscle that I had to exercise, because not everybody lives in a grateful state. You could be in a positive state and like, you know, you do a couple of burpees or whatever, like movie body, and then you get in a positive state, right? You get in a positive state. And Tony Robbins is so good. He always talks about this stuff. If you don't know who he is, follow him. Go look at his stuff. It's like amazing, life-changing. But gratitude is totally different, because gratitude is something that's like a muscle that you work on, and it's something that grows in you. And then once you live in that grateful, that gratitude, that like compassion state, it's totally different.
So let me tell you why this showed up last week for us, right? Because last week it was Halloween.
Yes.
We don't really celebrate Halloween because we live in the woods and nobody comes to visit us.
It's not something that we like to celebrate. I know a lot of people like to celebrate it, but
we haven't done it.
The way that I feel,
the kids like, are grown up right now. Not grown up, they're teenagers.
Yeah.
We never done it when they were little kids. We never done the trick or treat.
We dress up.
We'll dress up when we want to dress up. We do our thing.
Yeah.
But we always like to do something special. And what we did is you plan to go to the movies. You plan to have a nice dinner out. You wanted to have all this thing. So Vivian would text me and say, hey, I have this plan, and you know, I want to take the kids to the movies. I want to have dinner, and then I leave the office and the studio early, and I get home and I have all these expectations of what needs to happen and how we're gonna have this epic night and, you know, a family day night. And I get home, and then what happened? And
I think also because it was on a Thursday, and that's like religiously for us is our time together. So that alone was like, for me already was like, oh, okay, I'm going to give up something because of my kids, because I love them and I want to spend time with them. And then when we got to the house and we were all there, like it was like a ripple effect of like one thing went wrong.
Well, the first thing that went wrong was
everything else followed.
The first thing that went wrong, or they didn't like, is that school is getting in the way of our family time, because our little girl has so much schoolwork, so much homework.
Yeah, it's a new year for her, so she's like adjusting.
And then for us, it's like, I don't like that school gives them homework in the first place, because I believe that if you go to school, just finish the work in
it should
school,
be enough.
Right? It should be enough,
right?
We
both believe that, but school doesn't believe that.
My little girl is just bombarded with school, and she's staying until late to finish school, and you know, the day they want to go out, she starts crying, saying, you know, Dad, I'm struggling in school. I can't go. I have to do this. I have to do that. So obviously, we have to be the good parents and say, you know, it's fine. We're going to stay in and don't worry.
So then we adapt and then we adjust and we're like, okay, we're going to stay home. We are going to order takeout.
But then my son came upstairs too. And then my son is like, you know, Dad, I don't want to go either, because, you know, I'm playing Fortnite. I want to stay.
So we just decided
a Fortnite
to stay.
Tournament. So like the two kids already, we're getting triggered because now the two kids don't want to do what we want them to do, right? And again, we have the surprise for them. We want to take them out and we want to spend a family time.
Yes.
And now they don't want to go. So they don't want to go. And again, you and I said, okay, let's just take
we're like looking at each other. We're like, ugh, especially for me, like, and I know we talked a lot about, like, I talk a lot about emotions, and you know, like, it was like this anger that came over me. It's like, are you, like, what is happening? And it happens, you know. And I think, like, I felt it, and I felt it, but not fully, right? And then we kind of just stuffed it. And then
what do we do?
And then
what do we order? You went to get food.
I went to get food. I went to drop off my mother because I don't know why she was there. I went to drop her off. I'm like, okay, Mom, you have to go. I went to drop her off and then picked up some pizza, which you don't like pizza at all, and we never really eat pizza.
I just don't like a certain type of pizza.
You don't like pizza.
But you went to pick it up and you texted me like, "What do you want?" I said, "I want a homemade meal. I want some lasagna. So can you pick me up some lasagna?"
But listen, if you
had
a
homemade meal,
if you had a chance to pick pizza, you wouldn't pick pizza. So you don't like pizza. We like pizza. So yes, you had your lasagna and we picked pizza, which is like, how can you go wrong with pizza? Come on, like, we're expecting like this yummy, delicious pizza that we haven't had in a long time. And we get home, we sit down. Still, there was like some arguing. Like, that energy was just like so heavy because like I was feeling it, you were feeling it, the kids were feeling it. And then we sit down, we open up this food, and I kid you not, like, I'm not even gonna say the name of the restaurant because it's a Stanford based, but it was disgusting. Like,
it was cold, it was greasy, it was soggy.
It looked so
and
bad.
And then I look at each other like, shit, okay, this is it. Like, you know, like, I guess this is the Halloween night, right?
I wanted to scream. I wanted to be like.
But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part is that the kids, then started feeling bad for ruining the night.
Yes.
That the guilt and shame, like my son is like, oh, I feel so bad, Dad, that we couldn't do what we wanted to do. Now, I wish I could have gone. And then he's feeling bad. Then my little girl is crying because like she's feeling the guilt about not doing the homework.
And I'm feeling angry.
And then Vivian and I, we're feeling angry. And we have this food in here. And then all of a sudden, like this whole buildup is building with negativity, with the energy of anger for not having the expectations that we have.
It was bad.
And then what happened?
The lights go out.
We lost power.
Dark. Pitch dark.
We lose power.
Yes.
And then that's the moment that I realized like we need to shift. And I said to my little girl, I said like
everything changes.
The good thing is that we're here together.
Yeah,
the good thing is that at least we have each other. And then that's when my little girl says, Dad, you're always so positive. You're always so positive. You always think about the good things and everything. I started thinking about that because we are positive because we want things to work out. By that moment, I wasn't positive. I was grateful that we were together. And I think that sometimes we mistake positivity for being, you could be positive and be angry at the same time. You could be positive and do it out of anger. You could be positive and say, fuck, I'm going to make this shit happen because I want to. And I think positivity is looking forward to when things are going to work out and having the optimistic mindset and you want things to work out.
But you weren't positive. Like you weren't positive when this was happening. You were just kind of like sitting back and letting the emotions come through because, I mean, at that time you weren't really positive. But I think like when the perspective changes, and I think that's really like, if you get anything out of this, it's like if we could sit back, and things like this have to happen in our life most of the time for us to learn. It's like God hits us upside the head sometimes. It's like, hey, listen, I'm trying to tell you something. I'm trying to show you something. But if you can't listen to it this way, let me do this for you. No more light. It's like, okay, so we didn't complain about anything else.
You can't complain. You have to stop complaining.
We didn't complain.
There's zero upset. I always say zero upset in complaining.
And it was like, okay, then your perspective changes completely. And then you start to look at the scenario in a complete different way. And then it was like, okay, we appreciated that. We actually had each other, and that we were inside the house because it was raining. It was like a windstorm. That's what happened. It was a windstorm. So the power went out. We actually have a warm home and we have each other, and everything just kind of like, disappeared what we were feeling at the moment. And we just took a deep breath and it was like, okay, thank you, God, because we have each other. Thank you, God, because we at least have this cold pizza, but we still have something to eat. And that's the thing, like I tell you, it's like that part of like gratefulness, of gratitude only comes from like you pausing and breathing and really taking in like inventory and just saying like, thank you. Like there's this part of us, especially for women, like there's this part of us that lives inside of us that if like it holds so much, and we don't take the time to go there often enough.
But it's one thing that I appreciate about you is that you allow you don't hold on to the anger. You don't hold on to the emotion. I think that's what we've done in the past. It's like we mask it with positivity.
Yeah.
We mask it with like, oh, things are going to work out.
Well, because I think also like the way that or you get to be like, whether you think is positive or gratitude is like, you only get to know that when you've been in a place that you're negative all the time. And that's what I tell my girls. I'm like, you don't know the light unless you've been in the dark.
Well, that's a pull, and you have to have
right.
The pull
and
it's
like you have to know both, and you can't make one right or wrong. But it's like there's parts of me that are so dark. There's parts of me that are like that are just rage. And I know my kids, like they always make fun of me, like they call me Cobra, because it's like, Cobra is gonna come out because
you step on the Cobra comes out. Like,
she'll bite you. But there's a part of me, so that's like there's a part of me that gets angry and that gets like anxious, and that will bite your head off if like, you do something wrong. But it's like, then you, as my husband, appreciates this part of like, okay, there is anger, but there's also gratefulness because she loves me and because she takes care of me, whatever it is that you're feeling at the moment for me.
We also need that polarity, right? Because if you were just this beautiful light version of yourself, it'd be fucking boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it has to be like, we have to have the polarity. I love your darkness. I love the moment that you come out with rage, because also allows me to get stronger and hold that energy, hold the space. Because at the end of the day, positivity can mask a lot of the emotions that we have.
Yeah.
And the whole point of the story is like realizing that when you're positive, you are looking for things to work out. You're optimistic with things to work out. When you are grateful, you find the gift even when things don't work out. And
Yeah,
you're happy
I love
even
that.
when things don't work out. So even things that are not working out in your life, even things that haven't worked out in our lives, we know that at the end there's a lesson, there's a gift, there's an opportunity for us to learn.
Always.
But don't mask it with just positivity. Don't mask it with like it's gonna work out. No, take ownership. Acknowledge you were an ungrateful motherfucker at that moment.
Yes,
and then
and
the
it's
moment
okay.
that you say, okay, it's okay. I could be an ungrateful motherfucker at the moment. I could be a grateful man at the same time later on. So it's just acknowledging that we have both parts. We have the good, the bad, the ugly,
and the uglier.
And we don't have to pretend to be something or not.
Yeah.
Give ourselves the permission
Definitely.
to feel those emotions.
And I also think like in order for us to like get to this grateful state, it's something that we have to exercise on a daily basis, and something that if you're listening out there, something that you could do, because I know like we're gonna try to cut it shorter this time, is having a daily practice, right, to like exercise the part of gratitude. And for me is writing things down. It's having a gratitude journal, and we're really big on writing. I know you are, like you have journals full of stuff. And I think sometimes that we don't take the time to really be grateful for the things that we have. And I always ask my kids, I'm like, what are you grateful for today and the night? And I tell them, I'm like, it doesn't have to be something big. It just has to be something small. And just as we were writing here to the office, I asked Abigail and I said, what are you grateful for today, baby girl? And she was telling me all these things. And I said, well, what about those comfy shoes? Because she's got some beautiful, like, fluffy shoes. And she was like, yeah, Mom, that's so true. I'm just grateful to have this fluffy shoes, warm shoes. So it's like, okay, if we could do that every day, have a grateful journal and to write down these little things, that's a muscle that we start to exercise. That's something big for me. Another big thing is going outside and being in nature. And there's just something so beautiful about that because we get to see God's masterpiece. And it's often in the morning that I walk outside, and now I get to go outside with Benji sometimes. And I look up, and whether it's, really dark, I see the stars, or whether the sun is coming up, I see this beautiful like painting of the sun coming up through the horizon. And I'm like, God, like that brings me so much gratefulness. So being outdoors is something really amazing. If you don't practice that, like go outside barefoot, like just walk on the grass and really feel the grass and the coldness, whatever it is, like just get outdoors. It's something so profound that allow us to find that space of gratefulness. Also, something that I'm very big on is volunteering, like giving your time to someone else or to something else other than yourself. And, when we go with our church or just with us to volunteer, like in the shelters, there is just something about that. Like you put yourself in this place and your heart just gets so filled with gratefulness. And I know that we're always thinking like, I don't have time, I don't have the resources. Yes, you do. There is always something that we could do for someone else, something little or something big. But once you do that, like that's when you start to exercise that muscle of gratefulness, of gratitude.
And I think what you're talking about is contrast, right? When you see somebody else that doesn't have what you have. And I have an exercise that I do every morning. I have my ritual.
Yeah.
And it's a part of the ritual because I often talk to my guys, and we have so much pressure sometimes building the business. We have so much pressure going on. And,
yes.
And I think that
we all do.
We need to have a contrast. Sometimes we are drowning in a cup of water.
Yeah.
Like because our fucking internet doesn't work, we're ungrateful. Yes. Because the office, is not operating the way, we're ungrateful. Like we have so much shit to be grateful for, but yet we take for granted.
Yeah.
So what I tell my guys is like, have a contrast. Make it like what I do, and I think I've shared that with you, is that every morning I picture you and the kids dying.
Yeah.
That's how my whole like morning starts. I start with gratitude, then I create energy, and then I go into this dark place and I picture you and the kids dying, and then I feel that emotion of like you not coming home, the kids not coming home, and the moment that I realize that you're still here, the kids are still here, nothing happened to you, I could feel the gratitude.
Yeah.
And that's the shift, that's the contrast. That sometimes we don't appreciate the things that we have. Cold fucking pizza, just eat it. You're hungry, you're not hungry, eat it. You don't have to go to the movies. You don't have to do all this stuff. Like that moment, I realized that even doing the work is so easy for us to go back into an ungrateful state.
Yes.
Having so much.
And we go back at it like very quickly. And that happens, to all of us. Like we go there, but we don't stay there. And I think that's the thing, like for us, because we exercise that muscle on a daily routine and we both have daily rituals that we practice, you know, like we don't stay there. It's just like, it's so quick how we could go back, but it's so quick that we choose not to stay there. And I think that's a beautiful thing now. It's like, no, we don't want to stay there. There's something so much more. There's something so much greater. Like God gives us so much. And then
the awareness.
Yes,
the awareness.
It's so beautiful.
So if you're listening to this, being positive is one thing, and I love positive people, and we're positive people, and we're constantly looking for the light at the end of the tunnel. But being positive is not the end game. Is having gratitude is going to allow you to see things in a different perspective. I'm gratitude, even if shit doesn't work out, even if your marriage is not working out, even if your business is not working out, even if your health is not working out the way, like being grateful for the things that you have. I mean, today I had multiple conversations. Maybe that's why my energy right now is kind of like aggressive, is because I have many conversations that I have to be grateful for. I mean, I talked to a guy that recently his wife has cancer and she's gonna die. I talked to another guy that he said his brother just killed himself and killed his wife. I mean, like shit, like and here we are, you know, so many people having so much fucking problems, and yet we don't take the time to appreciate the stuff that we have. So I'm so grateful for every single one of you that listens to a podcast. I'm so grateful for the fact that our problems are not at a level of life and death, and there's people out there that have bigger problems than us, and we have to understand that if you're not bringing that light into the darkness, you are part of the problem. If you're not doing something about it to help people out there that are suffering, you are part of the problem. And I hope that us sharing our story and a little bit of the things that we have gives you a light at the end of the tunnel, because that's what we're here for.
Yeah, and I think more than that is like, if you're not really focusing on what you could change, really, because there's so much that could happen if we start with ourselves. And that's how, like, I started by myself, you started by yourself, and then it's like, really, like, how can we change little by little? And don't discount what you do on a daily basis. Don't discount even what you're thinking. As long as you, like, if you write it down, if there is some part of you that says, like, this is what I could be grateful for, there is so much that we could be grateful for, and that in turn will start to change everything else. It's like baby steps. If you take the first step, the rest will follow. It will. That's how we got here today.
It's a work in progress, because we still have to remind ourselves to be grateful for the things that we have.
Yes.
So if you're following us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, follow us everywhere except for our bedroom, because we keep it private. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to us. Until next time, learn it,
live it,
live it,
experience it. Love life.